Hi folks, Gabe here with Backwoods Pursuit bringing you another gear review. Today we are looking at the FORLOH Raider Anorak mid-layer. This is an ultralight mid-layer that is designed to be used while you're active so it breathes well. We're going to go over those details and features that you get with the Anorak, as well as some of the things I liked and didn't like and best application for this piece where it fits in your kit. I'll drop a link to this down in the description, as well as a link to our website, backwoodspursuit.com, where you can check out a bunch of other gear reviews. Let's get started. Now, before we get into some of the performance and features of the Raider Anorak, let's look at a few of the specs. It comes in at just 13.1 ounces, which relative to other pieces that are a mid-layer, it's very, very lightweight, particularly for how warm it is. That weight compares favorably to something like the Sitka Alpha Fleece, which we recently tested. Not quite as warm, but significantly lighter. The Alpha Fleece comes in at over 20 ounces. The difference here is that this is, while ultralight, also designed to be worn while active. So it's a great piece to hike in. I've done a bunch of training hikes with this on while temperatures are in that 30, 40, and 50 degree range, and it does exceptionally well with breathing. It's not overly warm and it breathes very, very well. The reason for that is this unique design. You've got that Polartec fleece, and on the inside here you can see it's a fairly low nap, but it's just warm enough to really retain heat well. But it's also body mapped. It has some of this 40 denier ripstop nylon here on the belly of the piece, as well as up in the chest, and then also on the arms, the elbows of the arms and the forearms right here. So it allows you to have those as a windbreak and also as something that can shed light rain, which if you see just how thin this material is, it does not shed wind or rain at all. It is not designed for that. It's designed to breathe. So the mapping of this ripstop nylon does really well up on the shoulders, on the arms, to not only add that wind resistance and that rain repelling, it adds some durability as well in those areas that are high traffic areas. So I found while using this with a pack, those straps come over the shoulder and there's no real signs of wear, whereas if you had just this super lightweight material, you would start to see that wear pretty quickly with a piece that is this lightweight. So overall, performance-wise, it did excellent in an active situation. Again, like I mentioned, I used this on training hikes when the temperatures were on the cool side, not extremely cold, but very cool in that 30 and 40 degree range, with just a light base layer underneath this. It worked fantastic. You could even have gone with a t-shirt under this if you wanted more ventilation. But surprisingly, when I did stop, say at the top of the hill, took a break, did some glassing for some binocular testing we were doing, it actually kept me quite warm. The pieces here that are used to break wind, on the front here, the arms and the shoulders, and even in the hood, there's that same ripstop nylon on the hood. It does a good job of retaining heat as well. So it's a very unique piece in that it has both functionalities built into it. I found them both to work really well. Now, as far as fit goes, you can see I threw it on here real quick. The arms are a great length. I have longer arms, and so sometimes arm length can be an issue with me in some athletic cuts. Not the case here at all. In the body, you can see there's plenty of room here to layer underneath if you need to. You can put 1 or 2 or even possibly 3 base layers under this if you wanted to. It probably generally wouldn't, this being a second or third layer, but it works well and gives you plenty of breathing room. It does aid in cooling as well. It's not super skin tight like some base layers can be. In the chest here, it works well, and then the shoulders, if anything, it's a little on the smaller side for me. If I pull here, there's just a little bit of that pull on the 40D Cordura because it goes and wraps around the shoulders here. It's not bad because it's countered by the super stretchy material here in the fleece side, so it fits great and no issues there whatsoever, but a little bit smaller on the shoulder side than some of the other pieces that I've used. Now on the fit here, the hem here at the base is a little bit large, a little larger than I like to see with a piece. It does have a drawstring, a draw cord here, so you can tighten that up and really dial in the fit if you want to. But I would like to see a little bit more of a taper in this, because you put a backpack on here and strap that on, you can see some of this kind of bunching up on you once you put that strap on your backpack. So a little more of a taper here would be great, but overall it fit really well. Now, as far as some of the features, as you can see along the outside of the arms here, you have that 40D Cordura. You also have that on the shoulders here, and onto the back it does shed rain and wind there very well, and then on the belly of the piece here, the same there. So that all works really well, while you have the more breathable material here, that lightweight fleece, a Polartec fleece in the armpits, on the insides of the arms, and then on the back as well to help shed some of that body heat. Makes it work really well in high active situations, and while it maintains that ultralight status. So it works great as a multi-layer piece in that way. Now, some of the other functions here, you've got a kangaroo style pocket here in the front that goes all the way through. And then you have a smaller pocket on the inside here if you have some valuables or whatnot that you need to go ahead and put in there. Now, another note on the hood here, it does offer that hood that we talked about with the 40D Cordura on top of that. The other interesting thing about this piece is these wings, if you want to call them that, are a bit on the long side. So when you have the hood laid back, which is a lot of the time, then these pieces go all the way out to about the outside of my shoulders, which is quite long, especially when I compare it to other pieces similar to this that I've used. So I wouldn't mind seeing this shortened up just a little bit, not quite as long of a piece there, along with the wings here around they go around the chin. Not a huge deal or a deal breaker, but just something I feel like the fit could have been a little bit better in that regard. Now, as far as warmth to weight, I would rate this as very good. It is much warmer than most 13.1 ounce style mid layers, but it does breathe really well. So if it's windy out, you're not going to realize some of those benefits as far as the warmth. But if you put something over the top of this, or if it's just not windy out, you're going to get that benefit of breathing really well, but also being lightweight and very, very warm for its weight. Now, as far as best uses, I found this to be great for anything where you're active, training hikes, or if you're hiking up the mountain to get to the hilltop. And then once you get there, you want to put something over the top of this and trap that heat in. It does a great job in that regard. It can be a great early season piece or a mid-season piece that you use while you're active, but then put some insulation over the top of it. Works great in both situations. Now, one thing you do want to consider with this piece, and something that I was concerned about, was noise level. As you can tell, when you're moving around, it is not a noisy piece. Anytime you're going to be contacting this Polartec fleece, that is very, very quiet. It's dead silent. However, if your branches or your arm or something brushes against this 40D nylon, it is quite loud. So you don't want to potentially risk that on, say, an archery hunt where you might brush up against a branch or a log, or your pack with your arm or something of that nature. So anywhere where this nylon fabric is on your piece here, whether in the front and the side, you can hear the noise a lot more so than on the arms here, on the inside, or anywhere that the Polartec fleece is a part of the main construction. So something to be aware of and something to consider. I was quite concerned about the noise when I saw this material throughout on the body mapped portion of it. While it does do its job in repelling some light rain, repelling some wind, it is a liability in the noise department if you're needing it to be dead silent. So keep that in consideration, even though I did find through my hiking and the testing that for the most part, it was very, very quiet, quieter than I thought it was going to be, other than when I brushed up against something. So consider that. It may or may not be a deal breaker for you, but something you need to know. So things I liked about the FORLOH Raider Anorak is, first and foremost, it is super lightweight. At just 13.1 ounces for a size large, it is very, very lightweight and very warm for that weight. It's also a great piece if you're active and needing something to hike in and be active in. It's great for that mid or late season, even hikes where you're expending a lot of energy but don't want to sweat heavily. It might be cool out. It's great for those situations. And it surprisingly, this what they call shadow box nylon here does a great job of shedding light rain and some wind, and really aids in the warmth of this piece when you're using it. So definitely something to consider. Finally, I really liked how this is made and sourced in the USA. It's one of the few clothing companies, FORLOH is, that makes and sources all of their materials here in the US. It's a huge benefit. Love supporting USA made, and you get that with FORLOH. Now, a couple things I didn't love, as I mentioned earlier, these shadow box nylon patches can be noisy. So if that is a deal breaker for you, that can be something that may put this piece out of your kit if you're needing something absolutely dead silent. but also to note that everywhere else on this piece is dead silent. So it's really an interesting tension there with this. As long as you don't brush any of those, it is dead silent, and it'd be great for an archery piece, but if you happen to brush up against something or itself, you're gonna have a little bit of noise there. Second, I didn't love how long these were. As I mentioned earlier, they could be trimmed down and make the piece a little bit better fit up here on the shoulders. And then finally, the hem here I thought was just a little bit too big. It definitely could be tapered a little bit more, for at least for my liking. Again, that's a sizing issue for various folks, so some may or may not dislike that, but there's something I felt was a little bit too much down on the hem. So that is the FORLOH Raider Anorak. It's a Polartec fleece that is built to be an active piece. Does a really good job in that regard. I'll put a link to this down in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. And please drop any questions or comments. We'd love to help if we can. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.